Assalamualaikum everybody, I hope you're all doing really well. So this video has been highly requested. It's my revert story time, so I thought I would get ready with me while telling my story. It is going to be a long one. I'm going to do my makeup at the same time, so grab some snacks, grab some popcorn, let's get into it. So just a bit of like background, I guess. Growing up, I was actually christened. However, I would never say we were a Christian family, because even though, yeah, we celebrated Christmas, we never celebrated Christmas for like any religious purposes. Like, we just usually used to get together as a family and just spend time together. So I never actually would say we were Christian. However, I know I always believed there was a God, because I remember so clearly every night going to bed being like, dear God, please look after me, look after my family, allow us to have good health, things like that, because honestly I was so scared of death. So from a very young age I've always believed that there was a God, but for some reason I never actually really delved into Christianity and looked into that. I just didn't feel connected, and I don't know how to explain it, but it all makes sense now. Obviously I'm Muslim, but back as a kid I never really comprehended anything. So it came to, I would say, 2020/2021, mainly Ramadan 2021 is when I first started looking into the religion by myself and looking into research, because prior to this I had Muslim friends, like I'd learn about Islam in school and things like that, but I never really actually took time to like research into it myself. So during Ramadan 2021 I actually mainly started looking into it to be able to support the sisters at my work. The main things that I would say that really stood out to me, oh my gosh, I can't get my words out, stood out to me during this time was obviously being Ramadan and the fasting. I really wanted to understand why Muslims fasted and things like that. Zakat, because I noticed they were doing a lot more charity work, and then also obviously prayer. Like, I just saw every time that these sisters had prayed, the peace and like how refreshed they came back from prayer. Honestly, just like mind blew me. Like, I was like, wow, like this is crazy. So I started looking into Islam really from that point, but like I wasn't looking into it into so much detail. I was just learning the basics. It then came to 2022 and I was like, do you know what? I actually want to get a Quran, because it's all well and good learning through social media and looking on Google and things like that, but I really wanted to read the Quran. So I ended up getting a Quran, obviously English translated, began to start reading that, and I remember so clearly at the start of the Quran mentioning obviously about disbelievers and their punishment, and I kid you not, the fear I felt in my stomach for like fearing Allah, I was like, wow, okay. And then obviously I did more research, and then again just carried on with my life, but was still looking into it on like a deeper level. I began going through quite a lot of hardship during this time and during 2023, and I just remember being like, why is this happening to me? Like, I became so unhappy, was just so lost with life. I felt like everything was going wrong, and I didn't see a way out of it. So it came to August of 2023, and I actually really thought I was ready to take my Shahada, because I was learning day in, day out. I was looking and watching videos on how to pray, and like I really felt it in my heart. Like, I felt so connected to the religion. Like, I had done so much research and I knew it was for me. However, I always just like put off like taking my Shahada, because I was like so scared that I was going to be like a bad Muslim. Like, I really wanted to be perfect before I reverted. So anyway, August, I actually did call London Central Mosque, and I didn't get through. I didn't get an answer. So I took that as my sign that, look, I still need to do a lot more research. I need to try and like get on the right path. Even though, alhamdulillah, like I was being guided, I still felt like maybe I'm not on the right path just yet. And then in September of 2023, I made friends with Amber, who you might have seen on TikTok. It's Little Blondie. She's a revert as well. I met her. She actually gave me quite a few books to read. The main one that stood out to me was the New Muslim Guide, because honestly, it goes through everything. But again, very similar to the prayer cards that I had. It like breaks it down and makes it such an easy read. So I used that book, continued learning even more. And then it really started, I would say, end of 2023, start of 2024. I was going through the worst hardship of my entire life. I was not eating, I was crying. Like literally every day I would wake up and I would just be like, why is this happening to me? Like, what have I done so wrong? I began praying, asking Allah, like, please, anything that's not good for me, remove it from my life. Like, if it's not good for me, take it away from me. If it's pushing me away from you, let it leave my life. But I was getting all these signs that these things were bad for me. However, I just kept clinging on to them for comfort. Like, it was all I knew. And I was just, I guess, scared for the change. I would say the real turning point for me is when I truly put all trust in Allah. Like, when I say all trust in Allah, like, everything, I can't even explain the way my life changed. Like, alhamdulillah, like, for everything. It gets me so emotional, because that was the real turning point for me. That was the point where I was like, I really, really, really need to get on Deen now. It got to a point, right, from that moment, I honestly was walking around. I had already felt it for like quite a while in my heart that I was Muslim. But it got to a point when I put full trust into Allah, I was walking around and I was like thinking to myself, if you did this, how would you explain that to Allah on the Day of Judgment? Like, things like that. And then I was having conversations with my friends and they were like, Chloe, like, you believe, you feel it in your heart, like all your intentions are there. As I was saying, all my intentions were there. Amber told me multiple times, like, Chloe, tomorrow is not promised. And the fear that I felt, like, genuinely, I didn't want to die as a disbeliever. Even though in my heart I felt Muslim, I was doing prayer and I was following Islam. I hadn't taken my Shahada, so I didn't want to die technically as a disbeliever. And that played on my mind quite a bit. The day of Arafah came around, so at this point I was praying, I was making so much dua. I just felt so different on this day. Like, I remember it came to like 5 p.m, I was praying, and then I just felt it in my heart then and there on the prayer mat to take my Shahada. And I did. And honestly, it was the best feeling of my entire life. And ever since that point, the weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Like, I'm upset, I turn to Allah. Things don't go right, I turn to Allah, and I trust that there's a bigger, better plan for me. I can't even explain how happy I have been since, alhamdulillah. Like, I thank Allah every single day. So yeah, it's not really like a crazy story. The main point when I knew, though, was when I put full trust in Allah, and my life just changed 180, honestly. But yeah, if you have any questions, I feel like I may have missed a few things out, just let me know. But it has been a long one, so if you stay till the end, thank you so much, and I hope you have a good day.